Are collectors not ready for Street Humans? Hello and welcome to Modern Toy Fair. I'm your host, Mr. Modern Toy Fair, and I am joined by the founder of the NECA Illuminati, the delayer of shipments, the procrastinator of pre-orders, the perfect person, my YouTube wife, Mrs. Modern Toy Fair, Jarmar_Games. But that's not all. I'm joined by the man known as Bearded Spice. The man Modern Toy Fair has full custody over. The man the Optimus Prime popped and he refuses to stop. The Twilight Knight, the Master of Mac, the three-pump chump of taking this show off the rails, Nate. How's everybody doing?
I'm good.
I'm doing good.
Good.
How are you? How are you, Michael?
I'm annoyed as fuck. That's what I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it have something to
We
do
honestly
with me?
couldn't
It
tell.
has to do with both of you.
Couldn't tell.
Oh.
Couldn't
Yes.
tell.
Hmm.
And so this is different from any other day. How?
Because it's Wednesday.
That makes sense.
I was gonna make a Three's Company reference, but I don't think you guys know what that is.
I know what Three's Company
Come
is.
and knock on my
But it doesn't matter because we are running late. We don't have
Oh.
time for any bullshit today, so we're going to get right into the topic, and that is Street Humans. So, Sharmus Prime, for those who do not know, decided to make his own toy line. And he has been trying to do it through Kickstarter, and it seems pretty cool in theory, but multiple times now it just hasn't quite made it to the finish line. The goal is pretty high up there to begin with, but it's been struggling. So he this past week, which for us this is the 8th, just for anyone who's watching, little peek behind the curtain, it didn't hit the funding goal, and he posted that, we'll be back sooner rather than later, so they're going back to the drawing board. So I wanted to discuss with you guys just some of the details about it and why maybe it's not working. So first and foremost is the idea behind this is that it is a just generic, figure to have, in the background fighting your heroes or whatever, or fighting each other if you wanted. And they went through and had a bunch of different options for both the characters themselves, swappable parts, all sorts of stuff. A lot of it was unfortunately also put behind the tiers system, kind of like a Hasbro thing, but a little more involved. But the base ones, they had plans for multiple ethnicities, so that way you had representation across the board. And then they had options for hoodies or jerseys. Some of the unlockable tiers included different outfits, including there's a black pants versus blue jeans or cargo jeans or whatever. There's a tracksuit, there's a biker dude, there's also a bigger guy, which I think is kind of cool. That's a nice little addition. But for whatever reason, there was also you can see it if you guys look at the picture I shared to you on the tracksuit guy. They also did these swappable parts for hands and heads for monsters and aliens, which seems like a cool idea, but it's a little odd to me. So I guess let's start here, because obviously out of the three of us, I'd probably get more use to these than you guys would, because I take photos and stuff. But would civilian action figures be something that you'd be interested in?
Jamar, please go first.
It's a cool idea, very cool concept. It fits a very specific niche or niche, depending on what side of the planet you live on. But no,
we're generally considered to be in the Midwest.
No, it's northeast. No, northwest,
Okay.
east, Mideast.
Okay.
But here on the Mideast side, we say niche. But no, in all seriousness, it's cool, but there would be zero need for this for me. Obviously, yeah. I don't know. I like the idea, and I'm curious to hear from you more so than anything, because I think Nate, you might surprise me, but I'm gonna assume you're kind of aligning in the same niche.
I don't think anyone says niche, for the record.
I think some people do.
Those same
there's
people
some
say
people out there.
GIF. So,
or irregardless.
oh
Yeah.
God.
I actually think this is an awesome idea. Like, I love the idea right from the get-go when it was first shown. The different heads and stuff like that with the bat and the alien and things like that. I think that's just supposed to be like an extra incentive if you don't want to use them as humans.
Mm-hmm.
For people who are like, oh, regular people are boring, because they are. But I've always, ever since like Batman the Animated Series, when I was first collecting like the vintage 1992 figures, although I was not collecting them in 1992, I was collecting them in 1997, but that's beside the point. Anyway, I always wanted random thugs. And, because Batman all the time fought random thugs more so than just the Joker and the Penguin. There was an episode with the Joker, but there was also 16 random thugs, And so I wanted that. I've always liked the idea of that. Even like when they brought out the Tracksuit Mafia for Hawkeye, I still hadn't even seen Hawkeye. I bought 3 of those.
That's true.
No matter what, I'll keep those because I like them because they got swappable parts. That being said, I did not contribute to this, and I do sort of feel bad about it because I think I like Shartimus. I was a fan of his from the early days of YouTube, and I kind of like outgrew him. It's really the only way I can say, because his humor is more, sophomoric, and I don't mean that as a slam because it sometimes works. But I've moved on. But I like him.
Here at Montorka, we do just, high scale humor here.
Right,
Oh,
we
absolutely.
are highbrow here. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for calling out my bullshit. But even
just
so,
wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, and you're absolutely correct. I will
Nate,
not
you're right, because do you watch this?
Do I watch this?
Yes.
No,
this
I'm
isn't
not
the
a
type
fan.
of content.
I don't.
Exactly.
No, I do not like this type of show. Like,
Which
you
is
outgrew
it's
this.
hilarious.
Clearly not for me. But no, I like Shartimus. I think what he's done for the community is great, and I love this idea. Like our patron, and I have to agree with him, and I'll get to that later on at the end of the show, technically. But one of my issues with it was the potential for coolness for this line that is restricted by what was initially offered, and that's probably financially because it was impossible to do it any other way. I don't know. I don't know the logistics behind the decisions that were made, but I have to assume that all these accessories and things weren't offered from the get-go because it was going to be a more costly measure. But I do wonder how successful it would have been if maybe, I don't know, because I think like the base offering was like $28 per figure, which for a 6-inch figure in a crowdfunding world is not bad. You're typically looking at 35 to 45. Like you look at the 6-inch Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff that's coming from them and Big Bad Labs, which has got the backing of Big Bad Toy Store, which I know is not, a major, but it's still a major player.
It's still,
in
they
our
have
world.
a lot of money to throw at it, though.
Those are $35, a piece. The Animal Warriors of the Kingdom are 40 to 45. And I think you got a comparable layout for what you get. What is the average Valorverse figure for just like a regular?
So a regular figure, I don't think the price drop has happened yet. So I think they're still $31.99.
Okay, so close, and those do come with more.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it's still kind of, it's in that world. But I thought the price point was good. I think it comes back to financials probably, but my reason for not backing is just the initial offering was not as attractive, and I saw that it wasn't going to hit. And I'm being like one of those HasLab people, I guess, and I should have backed it. So this is just full of hypocrisy, and you shouldn't listen to me anyway. But
no offense, Nate.
My big thing,
you backing it wasn't going to save it.
Right.
Well, yeah. How bad?
Yeah.
Or
no, because I would have gotten one or two, but I did not like the 2 that were initially offered, and that did keep me away.
Yeah. So for context here, it had 705 backers, which for the amount of money is pretty impressive. Had 89,689 out of 120,000 was the goal. I mean, that was just for the base offering. That wasn't for any of the tier unlocks, because the tier unlocks started at, where was it? hold on here.
I want to say it's 125. Am I right?
It was
Am I right?
one. You're close. 126, and that's to unlock the
Okay.
swappable parts for the hoodie set. And then 130 got you the jersey, and after that, 160 got the the guy in the black pants. 190 got you the bigger guy. 212 got you the tracksuit guy with the swappable monster
Now,
head.
as you're looking all that stuff up, I do want to also point out that another reason that I didn't is I don't currently have a need for these. I'm not collecting Marvel Legends comic, especially, and my movie has definitely tapered off, and these are not really going to fit in with movie, although they might. They really don't fit in with anything that I've got. So that was kind of the other thing. For the price that they were, I thought that was fine. But I kind of looked at it and was like, do I want to back this? I don't really like what is being offered, and I really can't see what I could do with it right now.
That's fair.
But I love the idea. It's ironic.
So go ahead, Jamar.
No, I was just gonna say, is it ironic?
I grew up in the 90s with Alanis Morissette. I don't really know what ironic means.
I'm very torn on this because in theory I like the idea of it, because I too I want those generic thugs. I'm still sad that I've only seen the Tracksuit Mafia figures once, and I was with the BFC and I knew he wanted it and there was only one, so I was just like, fuck it, he can take it because he collects Marvel Legends more than me. My problem with it is two things. One, the picture I showed, you can see a little bit of the scale with other lines. They're too tall. That already I was out. I'm sorry, you've got Marvel Legends there with it, and he is taller than both of them.
Okay, so
Marvel Legends
are
some of the taller. Yeah, but guess what? I don't want my thugs to be bigger than Batman. That doesn't make sense to me.
The bigger they are,
bigger.
But here's the thing, though. There's no the variation means the next guy.
Sure.
You unlock the bigger guy later on, no, Nate. So that means the next guy's even bigger.
Okay, but Batman's 6'3".
Okay, so this guy would be
PFC
6'6".
is 6'7". And then that guy that plays basketball is 7'2" or something like that. What's that guy's name? Jamar?
I don't
There's
know
a lot of
which one.
basketball players. They're all 7'2".
Giannis Antetokounmpo, but he's 6'11". Yeah, Joel Embiid is 7'7".
Only 6'11".
Well, I mean, Joel is 7'2". Okay, sorry,
Okay.
Mike.
But I'm just saying, that's a thing that exists, is larger dudes.
I'm aware, but they'd all be larger then.
And
that's
not
the
all
problem.
of them are committing crimes, So there's some short guys that do some bad things.
Exactly.
Too, so.
Not all big dudes have to be the dudes breaking the law. But that's my biggest problem with it, is it's too big, because Marvel Legends are already at the higher end of the scale for 112 figures. They already are 6.5 inches instead of 6 inches. So realistically, if they're bigger than Marvel Legends, then that completely takes it out for me with Mafex. Mafex is smaller. Mafex is closer to 6 inches. So that means every single dude in that I'd buy from that would then be 7 feet tall, which means if they unlocked the bigger dude, he'd be 8 feet tall. That just doesn't make sense.
Still possible.
But it doesn't make sense. And
maybe the whole gang is tall guys.
Okay, but why would I want?
Maybe it's the tall guy gang. And don't tell me that that's stupid, because name one thing in Batman that's a gang that's better than that.
But that's worse than that. I love that you are giving me shit about my promo scale when you wanted it and didn't even fucking back it.
Creating
content,
content,
it makes more sense for you to back it.
It does.
Either one of us.
But that's my problem though, is that they were too tall. So that already I was out. But had I been able to look past that, the next problem I would have had would have been probably the price point. Because while $28 for compared to other stuff, not terrible. But for a generic thug, I don't know if I'd spend that.
And you did.
Wait. Yeah, but I don't know why this is pushback on your reasons for not.
Yeah, right. Fuck both of you. You guys. Nate's I wanted it, but I'm just not supportive. And you're just I don't give a fuck. But me, God forbid, I have an opinion.
You are the photographer. You're the toy photographer. But the Valaverse characters that you purchased, those are just generic dudes with guns, right?
But they're troopers. They come with significantly more. With those
Sure.
figures, I get like 6 or 8 pairs of hands, multiple guns, knives, also and detachable weapons and stuff to make them all swappable.
Sure.
This comes with an extra set of hands and a head and like a weapon.
But it's also like $2 cheaper, $3 cheaper.
I'm sorry, you're telling me $2 is that much of a difference for that amount of accessories? And also the Valorverse stuff scales with everything.
Sure. Now we're going back to that. I got
so, but and even then, like I still question like the Valorverse like at $32 is still a little rough for me. But yeah. So like my first problem was scale. My second problem was price point, just because I wanted the Trexie Mafia. Even at 25, I was like, ooh, that's a little rough for just a generic fucking dude. But I probably would have done it because it's 25. It's the same price as everything else now. But I feel like those are probably the two biggest things. And then I feel like he offered too much is my third thing. Is I think that like it raised the bar too high for what he needed to get this funded, because he had too much. He was shooting for the moon on the first try. I think he should have came up with like, well, I'm talking about because he had a lot of this stuff already the first time he did it.
I'm just saying.
Just clarification.
So realistically, he had all these offerings. He should have maybe had like 2 different figures, and then maybe 1 or 2 tiers of like, if you hit it higher, instead of, alien parts and 4 different dudes and swappable parts here and there, because he could have done that all on the second run. Like, you got to get off the ground before you like start offering all the extra stuff.
Some might even say get it kickstarted.
Exactly. Like that's I really feel like that's the problem. There was too much stuff. It was a little bit too pricey for some people, most including me. And I don't know. I feel like it would have brought the cost down significantly to have less offering. And I know what you're saying about the aliens and the monsters and stuff like that, but there's so many lines of generic like looking aliens and monsters out there that I don't see a purpose to need those to be.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with you. If it's going to be a Street Humans line, maybe make that an unlockable.
Yeah.
And maybe something else, bring that forward.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have used those.
Yeah.
Those parts. Like for me, I was buying it, or I would have bought it because it was a Street Human. I understand the reason behind it, but yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So like, I don't know obviously the going-ons behind. So I don't know how much he needed to have made to where maybe he had to do all that extra stuff, or maybe he just was really excited. I know that he was at PowerCon when we went a few months back. We didn't really get a chance to talk to him. You took a picture with him and chatted with him for a second, and he seems really excited. Seems like a good dude. I really love to see this, take off. Hopefully when he comes back, he has, some changes to kind of spice it up and get it to fund.
Do you expect maybe just less characters? Because if you're saying less, like the heads and stuff, I have not known that this existed until this very moment of starting this podcast, which is great for content on my behalf. But you want less, but you want more. So like, what would be like an appropriate less characters and more accessories for that same price point?
So I don't want things to just not get made at all. Like I'm saying, for your first run, do something real basic. Just give me like 2 types of thugs and maybe some extra hands. Like if you really want to get spicy, throw in some heads. But I don't need to have 7 different things right off the bat. I'd love to, but if you don't have the funding to do it, and it's the choice of getting it made or not made, I'd rather you be able to get your first wave out, and then the next Kickstarter could maybe have a lower threshold, and it be strictly just accessory based. It gets you all the interchangeable parts, gets you extra weapons, extra heads, all that stuff. And you just kind of slowly build off that instead of trying to do it all at once, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I just think, I guess, I don't know. I again, it's just, maybe just not fully understanding everything that's included in this, but it seems pretty basic. You have 4 guys: black guy, Asian guy, Hispanic guy, white guy.
Would you like me
You
to
gotta
send
have.
you the link so you can actually see the
I'm
page?
looking at it right now.
Oh, you are?
No, I'm
Okay.
looking at it, and you have 3 heads with each character, 2 hands. Looks like each one has 2 weapons. Like, and then outside of like the alien heads and stuff, I could see like maybe reducing that. But you mean like having the multiple heads for each character? Like there's 3 heads for each character plus.
Yeah, like we don't need that.
Non-human, yeah.
Like
So
just give me
lowering
some like
down.
moderately angry heads, and call it a day. Like I would say,
Like one non-swappable head is what you mean, like.
yeah, like I like obviously make it so it's possible, but
Right.
I want it to be a situation where like I don't, if it's gonna bring down the cost and bring it down the threshold of what he needs to get there, then I'd rather have 1 head to start than 3.
That's
Because it's a cool offering, but no one else is offering that much right now. So
Yeah.
it's not something that I feel needed, especially if you could later on offer an accessory pack on your second Kickstarter. So, like for me, I would say have 2 different like style thugs, like as far as like costume wise, and then the unlockable tiers, you could do the different skin tones. I know it's
So
it's a little risky, but that's the only thing I can think of because
that's not.
it costs
that-
too much money.
No, you can't come out with thugs
Like, you get white
only
dude.
in one nationality. You can't.
Well, I'm not,
do that.
I'm not
Like,
saying like obviously the 2. I'm saying the
Well,
2
you
main
are.
ones
Or
would be
race.
different nationalities, but
So
then
would-
unlock
okay,
more as you
what-
go.
race,
What
not
2
nationality.
nationalities
That
would
doesn't
you
really make
start? Or yeah,
race.
what 2 races would you start with, Michael?
So there's 4. I don't want to get into the logistics
See,
of that.
that's the whole
See,
point.
You
That's
don't
the
wanna
whole
make that
point.
choice.
I'm just
Part of me doesn't wanna
trying
make that
to
choice.
come up with a way to like do it where
Right,
like it's
and-
less money because you
Sure.
can't like print that
I'm
many.
agreeing with you, but that's a decision that you're like,
Yeah, you're not
Is
wrong.
it worth? Right.
But
Yeah.
like, there's got to be
That's
a way
why-
to do it because otherwise, no matter what you do, it's gonna suck because either you're gonna make people wait until later to get those other ethnic like skin tones, or you're gonna have some sort of weird system where they're unlocked later on.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't. I mean, again, we're just kind of nitpicking it. I guess this is the whole point of why we're doing this. I just don't see having 4 different ethnicities being the reason why it's more expensive. I think
Well-
having 4 at a beginning and then maybe reducing what comes with each one would probably be a better play. Like, I like your idea of taking out the extra heads
Mm-hmm.
and just having the 4 generic dudes,
But you have to think about it. They have to then mold those in a different color plastic each time, which then brings down how many you're making of each figure lower, which brings
But
up the cost.
You just have hands.
No, it's
and-
heads. They're in fucking wife beaters. Like they're not in
Well, I
jackets
mean,
or
that's-
anything.
So there goes the idea. Let's just do more fully clothed.
Cloved? Like we're like
Clothed.
garlic?
Just do like have them in like hoodies and something like that in a tracksuit jacket to like make it easier that you can just swap the heads onto the different characters
Mhm.
and they come with hands and then swap the hands. So like the overall body is the same, like the arms and stuff, and then later get to
You would have to
different,
do
you
like
know.
some sort of swappable neck way though, for that to work.
well, the hoodie
Okay.
dude looks like he doesn't have a.
Well, the hoodie is literally just a piece. It's not attached to the body. It's a separate piece.
Yeah, but it looks like you can't really see the neck. Well, I guess you can. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have to have some sort of
But yeah,
swappable neck
it's a-
piece.
Well, I mean, I don't know engineering and how hard this would be, but like NECA figures, you can pull the whole neck
Mhm.
and then you just got the little ball thing there. So maybe the heads swap out that way or something. But I don't know if that, again, would really reduce costs if now we're having to do a completely different moding and stuff.
So-
that. Granted, which this hasn't happened because these aren't made.
So what if? Because I like the idea. I like making it so instead of having them in like the like tank top and stuff, like have them in like a tracksuit or a jacket or a hoodie, something, so that way there's
Yeah.
less skin showing. I like that because that would solve the issue that I was thinking of, like cost wise, of like having to like mold the figures in multiple color plastics.
So now you're just doing heads
Heads and hands.
and then just making a shit ton of those,
Mm-hmm.
Figures in that regard, that could lower the cost a little bit and
Yeah.
mix the alien thing. But what would be the magic number? Because Nate made a very good argument. I don't think that the price is that crazy. If these are $28, like how much lower would you want it to be?
I mean, I would say even like bring it down to Marvel Legends level at 25.
So $3 is the hang up.
I mean,
because we're fixing scaling.
How many times have you had a hang up over something and then bought it because it was on sale for 10% off or 15% off?
No, normally it's a pretty decent amount.
Not always.
Normally.
Though. Not always.
Normally. Yeah, but I just think this also, I'm just trying to take down the mega corporations like Hasbro and NECA and Super
But they
7.
are doing these though.
Ish.
Even the Hasbro
I know,
teams
but that's my
are
point.
like
That's my
supporting
point.
it.
Like, so support the small guy
Mhm.
who's just trying to do something creative and new. Like, it seems almost that he's like, hey, I want to make something specifically for Michael, and you're just over here shitting on it, man.
I'm not. Listen, I'm just saying
joking,
that
I'm joking.
it.
But yeah,
there's got to be ways to bring the cost down, because one, you need to bring down that number, because clearly it's not able to hit the magic number he needs it to. So he needs to find some way to bring that down.
sure.
End of the line. So what would do it? And I think that's it. I think you make a generic body, have a swappable neck, head, and hands. And then that gives you 4 different options. The bodies can all be made from the same moldings, and then you can make the heads and hands and swap them out as needed for each figure that people order. Obviously, don't include all 4 options in one figure, because that'd be pointless, because then you'd have a bunch of heads and hands like a fucking psychopath laying around.
Me.
I do have enough.
Yeah.
I was like looking at my desk right now, but yeah.
I mean, I literally have a bunch of Utrum heads just sitting here next to me because I never cleaned off my desk. So yeah. I also have a
look
headless.
at those. How much were those, Michael?
Those are $27.99.
And how much do you get with that?
Okay, but they were $34.99 on sale for $27.99.
So what Shartimus needs to do is be like, these were originally 35, but now they're 28.
But there's also a difference in the fact that there's licensing with this. He's not paying for any licensing.
Yeah.
No, but he's also a guy. Like,
I'm aware he's a guy, but he doesn't have a team. He doesn't have a team to pay. He's not he's not holding up an entire building of workers. So there's a lot less cost that goes into his overhead.
He's also making a much smaller run, and
yes, that's the big thing.
Is that's where the cost comes in.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the fact that having the 4 different dudes right off the bat brings up the cost so much, because then you're doing that divided by 4. It's going to obviously be more expensive. Like if there's 100,000 of them and you have to divvy that up into 25% of this dude, 40% of this dude, and so on and so forth, then that's going to fuck up your costs.
Here's an idea. Maybe manufacture or have it based off of the real world percentage of race to crime.
Jesus Christ, Jarmar. I thought I was in questionable territory when I suggested put him behind unlockable tiers, but I think you may have just went up to me somehow.
It's a joke. But yeah, that pretty much solves it, in my opinion. Yeah. But I really like this idea. I like this idea because this is coming from someone obviously smaller, like you have. It just reminds me of the Mafex thing. Or not Mafex, but
Figma?
No. God. The one that's gonna make the 4 turtles that I hope never come out because
Mezco?
It's Mezco, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
Jokes
have
on you, buddy.
own...
The rumor is they're on time and they're gonna be out this month.
Oh god.
Or at least they're charged this month, probably ship in December.
Did you get your Batman yet?
Oh, 89?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sold it to a buddy because I didn't.
I'm about to say got it and sold it.
Yeah, it did finally come up. Yeah.
I was gonna make a joke. Well, you didn't even tell us. We made a whole show.
I don't feel bad at all. Listen, after the shit you put me through before the show, I don't feel bad at all.
But yeah, I just meant that line of non-licensed stuff that they're doing. It's kind of cool that they're trying to get into that. The blue guy.
Oh, you mean their own IP?
Yeah, like they
Okay.
have their own.
I
like,
was very confused.
non-licensed
You kept
thing.
saying non-licensed, and I'm like,
Well, that is. It's
what?
not licensed. They're
Well,
not
it's
paying a
not. Yeah, it's not
license.
licensed, but like in my mind, like he created that, so it's a license. It's just not anyone else's license, kind of thing. So it can. Yeah, I
Sure.
got mixed up. I get it. I get what you're saying. No,
Sure.
I got. Yeah. I also,
yeah,
I
that's all I
also
was saying.
block out that line because those. I hate those figures so much. They ruin the line. But that's neither here or there.
Bought a lot of them.
For the accessories.
I know. I'm just
What did you buy a lot of?
All of those like
Ugh.
Gomez and Slugfest garbage that Mez put out instead of putting out licensed figures that
okay.
people wanted.
Okay, I get you.
Or putting out the figures that people pre-ordered.
paid for.
But yeah, so
Didn't even tell anybody.
oh my god. Anyway,
When do you think he's gonna bring this back again?
I would say probably like, I mean, by the time this airs, it's probably already gonna be back up. But I would say a week or two.
You
I
think he's gonna
assumed he
tell
would-
anybody?
Oh my god, you're so dramatic.
I was just gonna assume he would listen to this show and fix all the issues.
Maybe.
But
And yeah, I mean, I'd love to have Shermus on here and talk about it, but maybe we'll try to do
not
that.
now. You
We
insulted
are
his
small
mind.
potatoes.
We are, but like, I'm not saying like he should like come on here and listen to our ideas. I'm just saying I'd love to like talk to him about
We
it.
have the ear of the people, though, Mike.
We have the
And-
people's ear
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the people's elbow or the people's eyebrow.
No.
because I can hear what you're cooking.
Hey.
And it's poutine pie.
Jesus Christ.
Come get a slice.
Oh my god, I can't. So I've said what I would want to see or would expect to see with the changes. What would you guys see needing to change to get this funded? Especially you, Nate, since you know you wanted it and didn't even fund it.
Yeah, I guess I would just like maybe a little bit of a flashier character initial base offering. I don't know. It's just I don't know if the right word is flashy.
You just didn't want generic dude in a tank top?
Just a tank top guy. I just it was not that exciting. And I guess maybe I would like more accessories. Like,
So you want more in the initial offering
yes,
for $28, or would you pay more?
I would pay more if I felt it was worth it. Like,
So let's
depending
say
on what I got.
$35. You
Mhm.
get the hoodie accessory pack included.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Because that just gives me more options to display, and I would rather pay more to get more, kind of thing.
I'm there too.
I understand.
Like
But I understand what you're saying about getting it funded, though, too.
yeah.
So, but I think that is where the issue is I just didn't see the value for what I not that I didn't see the value, because again, I thought the price was fine. It just wasn't an attractive initial base offering to me to excite me. So I would want something a little more special, I guess.
I could agree with that. I will agree that $35 if you include the hoodie accessory pack, I'd do it. I'd still be, butthurt that they're too tall, but I'd do it.
And I get it. I get what you're saying.
What about you,
I
Jar?
will buy one.
I'd be all over these if they were turtles.
Don't you want just random dudes for your turtles to beat up?
Are you fucking with me?
And then you could turn them into like the bat creatures and things because they got mutated.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
mutation, yeah.
Here's the thing: the dude with the 6 eyes in the bat, kind of already looking like a Ninja Turtle, like villain thing. So, no, I mean honestly, this again, it's just not like my cup of tea of having like the random dudes and setting them up and stuff because of space. Don't really get to have like that cool of a display. So yeah, I would say I would have to pass on it in that regards. Just simply alone off of that. Do I like the idea? Love the idea. Do I need the idea? I don't need the idea. Is basically what I'm kind of getting at. Because like I have so many. If it was only one specific line of turtles that I collected, then that would make sense of like, oh, I want to put this, but I'm just kind of like, give me that. So it's at this point like scaling would be impossible. With all of the different turtles I have, I would have to go with primarily like NECA or something like that.
Are you
I can't
stretching or
tell if
raising
you're
your
letting
hand?
us know that, or just saying,
Okay,
hey,
he's raising his
I
hand.
Yeah.
One thing I kind of forgot that I think also affect it is I do think the timing was not great. With everything that had just been going on with HasLabs and such, because you're still going to have a lot of overlap in that audience there, and it's coming up on the holidays, like creeping up, and it's tougher for some people to commit to, something like this,
Especially
even
because
though
like
it's
most people aren't going to
all
buy just one.
right.
So that defeats the purpose of the line, really, is to buy.
And that was exactly it too, because as I was looking at the options, I was like, I don't want to get just one. I don't know if I would want just two, that sort of thing. And yeah. So I think doing it in a little bit more of a more neutral time would be better. And I know there's always something going on, but it seems like from San Diego to Christmas, our money is really tied
out of our pockets.
Yeah. So
it really does feel like they all just ship everything at once.
Yeah. I would say that would really help too.
Yeah, so maybe like wait until wait till January to like start back up.
When it's a little he doesn't slower. Launch it immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, he has an Instagram post. It says, "I'll be back soon." So I have a feeling.
Where you go?
Well, no.
It didn't fund.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He knew what we were talking about. He's just trying to be funny.
I do want to say, and I'm not trying to shill or anything like that because I don't know Shartimus personally. I met him once. I do hope this succeeds. I think it's a great idea. Obviously, with the amount of money that was, raised, like there was a lot of interest in this, and I hope that they figure it out.
Me too.
Yeah, because it's not like it was absolutely,
like it was 31,000 behind-ish. Like that's not terrible. Yeah. I mean, granted, that was just for the base offering. That didn't include any of the extras.
Right.
So it definitely would be the situation.
But I mean, 90,000 is nothing to sneer at.
Yeah.
I mean,
not at all.
But not.
So tweak it a little bit.
I think some of the most successful action figure Kickstarters weren't always on the first try.
Yeah.
Some were, some weren't. Some
even the Floosh is doing an updated version of their Ninja, and it didn't fund, so they're looking into a more basic option because, people just didn't want. Like a lot of people said, the price point was the problem for them.
Yep.
Nate, would you like to go ahead?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, feedback is great for that sort of thing.
Yeah. Would you like to read the Patreon input?
Yeah, I will. And this comes from our good buddy Sukmatant. Cool idea for a Kickstarter. Oh wait, I do this dramatically. What the fuck am I doing? This guy paid money. All right.
Oh yes, very fast.
Cool idea for a Kickstarter. Bad execution. He locked $18 accessory packs behind 125K plus tier levels. If they were part of the base package, he probably would have funded. Since most people buying figures would buy at least one accessory pack.
Not wrong.
Pushing the funding level up. I actually agree with all that. A lot. All right. I feel like I should get out like a pair of sunglasses and a hat and shave my beard down to a goatee and go sit in the front of my pickup truck for this. But a lot of snowflakes hate on Shartimus because he said something like, "Don't be gay" as a pejorative, which is something everyone said in the 90s and early 2000s. Just a quick point that was at least 20 years ago. I hear people calling him worse than Hitler for this. People are weird. But times have changed.
Also, be cool.
Be cool to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better yet, be excellent.
Be excellent to each other.
Excellent is a lot. That's a lot to ask.
That is not a lot to ask.
A wild stallion way.
I don't know.
All right. Well,
Megan?
Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts and feelings are. If you were going to fund it, what your reasons for not funding it if you did, what changes you'd like to see, all of that. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Helps us out, gets you tutorial content in your feed. You can check us out Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Modern Toy Fair. You Go over to patreon.com/Modern Toy Fair. A bunch of different tiers of different options. Even some have some free trials. Go ahead and check that out. Link in the description below. You can check Jarmar out over on TikTok at Jarmar_games. Nate, what you got for us?
So we've got a new podcast with me and Sukma Taint that is coming out, which this is going to be a blast for him and I to do together. It's called Empty Promises. And in this heart-wrenching exploration of disappointment, we discuss empty promises, him and I together. From absentee fathers, I did not have one of those, but maybe he did,
Nice.
who left to get cigarettes 8 years ago, to podcast co-hosts who never deliver their toy hunt videos. This podcast has it all. Or maybe the podcast itself will live up to its own name and fail to deliver, like Nate. Joke's on you. I had a whole toy hunt episode this week. Boom. Suck it. Suck my taint.
Last week, but yes.
Yeah, same thing.
So yes, go make sure to check that out. Nate has an entire episode where he goes to the Mansfield Toy Show and does a little toy hunt. Yes, Jarmar?
Ding, 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 ding.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, hopefully see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.
To do it now.
All right. A huge thank you to our Patreon members. Is that what it is? Are they members? Or are they followers? Sukma Taint, Kibby, Jason Millar, Tavin Hernandez, Aaron Samples, the 45th Lyric, and last but not least, Christopher.